So I'm just hobbling out of Mount Gilead Baptist Church after having that huge day. Mount Gilead was really hiker friendly. I'm actually kind of happy that I stayed there because it has this little pavilion thing with all these, with a hiker box, which basically means like this box that people can put food inside of and that hikers can take food out of if they need it. And I used a bit of that, to be honest. And yeah, in general, it kind of made me happy that I took such a big day yesterday. But that being said, I don't feel that great today, of course. Well, after 80 kilometers of road walking, it finally comes to an end. Check it out. Never really seen a river this big flow this fast. That's a big tree. Look at the flood mark. So this trail section has become completely infamous over this season because hikers keep on trying to do this section and then they come across massive flooded tributaries and then they try to get across but they cannot avoid a swim, and either they do swim across the entire thing and then realize it just gets worse and have to bushwhack out, or they just bushwhack out from there. So yeah, this river has been completely infamous for that, and as a result I think it's very overgrown. It's definitely the most overgrown section of trail I've had. Okay, this is it. This is the infamous spot that people had to swim out of, apparently. That is some deep water, right there in the middle. That's very deep. The log moves. Here's some more trivia for you. Apparently this bridge was burnt down in the Civil War. Look at that. Huge flowing river. And then it just ends. It completely dead ends. It's completely been swallowed by a sinkhole. That's insane. So presumably the river is directly underneath my feet at this moment, but as of now I just don't see any sign of it. That's crazy. Well, there's a sign of the river. Holy crap. It just vanished and now it's appearing again in this one pond, this one very rocky pond. This is the first rocky section I've seen on this entire trail. And then it just goes underground again. Like, what the hell? That's wild. See, in the outback, you're used to these rivers disappearing, but not in a rainforest. There's a lot of flow in that thing too. That's a sinkhole with an entire river inside it. Big tree as well. So apparently this thing is this whole tourist attraction called the Aquila Sinks. I've never seen anything like it before. If I were to take a video of every cool sink I saw, that would be half this vlog. I think these sinkholes are getting bigger. And a bit less rocky. Still interesting though. Controlled burn right there. There's a big sink and there's a hole. I could go cave diving under the trail if I want to. Goodbye, Aquila Sinks. Can't wait for the next road walk. In 1,500 kilometers, this is the first piece of track which I could properly describe as rocky. Lots of these little limestone outcrops. Nothing challenging though. Look at those vultures. Well, I think I found out where I'm staying the night. So they've got this shed with a bar, and there's a stage over here where I've heard hikers have slept before, so I think I might sleep here, right out the storm. Not too bad a spot. It means I don't get my tent wet. Check that out. That's the most American no soliciting sign I've ever seen. Thunderstorm by the weather forecast. And I wake up and it's sunny. So the much anticipated dodgy weather seems to be nowhere in sight, seems to be completely fine. So I'm just going to wait for another 2 hours or so, get my phone to completely charge up, and then hit the trail. Well, there's the weather I was waiting for. That. So here's something scientific I discovered on trail. I found out that after every day, I feel that many kilometers old the following day. So for instance, after I do a 30-kilometer day, I feel about 30 years old. And then after doing a 70-kilometer day, like I did 2 days ago, I feel 70 years old, which makes things tough for me. Back on trail on the very wet St. Mark's Wildlife Reserve. I'm actually really liking this. I think this is going to be a good one. I really liked the Kissimmee, and I feel like this is going to be a lot like the Kissimmee. Especially with water on the trail everywhere, but honestly, that's kind of fun too. Hop over this. I like that. Okay, let's go. I think there's a limit to how lonesome and dangerous a trail can be in Florida. And I think I've already reached that like 5 times, so this is nothing. Wild boar just up ahead. Bit hard to see through the darkness, I think, but interesting. I know this doesn't look like much to you, but this is the first time I've seen the ocean in like a month. Welcome to the Gulf of Mexico. Very, very dark, tidal swamps going on forever. This is easily the remotest campsite I've had so far. I don't hear any traffic noise, which is very, very unusual for the Florida Trail, like almost unique. I could hear traffic from inside the cypress swamp. And then, not to mention, I think I'm on the only road in this part of the wildlife reserve as well. There's not really any roads crisscrossing everywhere like there are in these other reserves. So this is really very distant from everything, which is unusual. And I like it. I really like it. I'm just lying here in my tent, and I'm being treated to this awesome sunrise. Maybe if it doesn't come across well on this camera, it's gonna come across well on that one. Birds. Check this out. I'm not on a detour, I'm actually on the Florida Trail. And it just ends. It looks like I'm hitching a ride. Well, I made it. That's the trail on the other side right there. And now I go through the town of St. Mark's, get some grocery shopping done, find a place to camp in the afternoon. After more than 40 days, I've made it here, the armpit of Florida. And there was this really nice lady who ferried me across the river, and I gave her a tip. It's an extremely cold morning again. My hands are freezing. Remind me to buy gloves at the next Dollar General. You know, I always feel like slowing down and taking slow mornings in nicer places. And this is one of those nicer places. I feel like taking slower, shorter days. So I think I will. Bet you haven't seen a church like that before. Welcome to the Apalachicola, I think that's right, forest. This is the biggest forest in Florida. I'm going to be spending about 2.5 days in it. Not a bad place to spend 2.5 days in. It reminds me a lot of Osceola. It's been pretty boggy so far. Apparently it's just going to get worse. So you'll see that. Morning. Let's venture back into the swamp. So there's a creek with no bridge crossing, but check this out. Just left in the middle of the wilderness. I wonder if it counts as part of the 10,000 Ks. Probably not. Probably should be sitting further back in this thing, but that's alright. Oh, there's a rope. There's a rope. Use the rope. People call them cypress knees in this river too, so just trying to avoid those best I can. There we go. I'm not really following a trail anymore. I'm just kind of following the deepest part of the swamp. This has been going on for a while too. Yeah. To be honest, this is actually one of the better sections because I think the current is compacting the sand at the bottom. Otherwise, it's mostly just mud. Well, here's one way of dodging swamps. So apparently the trail goes through this because this is one of the only areas in the forest where loggers have never cut down all the trees. Gee, I wonder why. Just found out in the best way possible that this swamp goes below waist deep. Bradwell Bay Swamp completed. That was definitely the toughest kilometer of the entire trip so far, one of the toughest kilometers I've done. But of course, that swamp didn't last too long, at least. I've been staring at each map I come across pretty much, just trying to see how much progress I've done. So far, fair bit. Check out these names. Tate's Hell State Forest. Mud Swamp. I mean, it's pretty appropriate, to be honest. Welcome again to the eternally long Apalachicola Forest. I just finished a call with some friends back home. Pretty late out there, but luckily that didn't stop them from calling. The swamp isn't done with me yet. I really like these sand traps. So there's only been one car through here the last few days. There's been a bear, I think. Welcome to Blountstown and new time zone. My clock actually just set itself an hour back, which means I need to get up at 4:30 tomorrow instead of 5:30. I just stopped at McDonald's for about an hour to charge up my phone and to upload a video. And the great thing about McDonald's is, I know from working there that the employees, like, none of them care enough to stop you doing whatever you want, so you can just sponge off the power and Wi-Fi without ordering anything, which is what I did for like an hour. I checked the flood gauge and it's only 1 foot below flooding. Look at that campsite. Well, the trail's dry though. The trail's fine. Scratch that, the trail is not fine. Well, that was a short trail. Back on the road for another 2 hours. So it's late at night now, but welcome to the Wilton Hilton. It's this amazing place next to a Baptist church. And there's another hiker sleeping in the other room, so I have to be a bit quiet, but they've got all this stuff, amazing food, they've got internet, they've got a homemade dinner, which was outstanding. And they've got this room, and it's all for free. It's like, it's too good to be real. As soon as I get rich, I'm gonna send them a big donation because this is incredible. Anyway, good night.